Hey, welcome to your Time In podcast. I'm your host, Adrian Shepard. I'm also the founder of Your Coaching Company. I want to thank each and every one of you for taking time out of your day to join us. Your Time In is about checking in back into life. Okay, so whether you taking a break from something that you always wanted to do, or there's a dream that you want to start and you're struggling to start it, this is the podcast for you. Break time is over. Let's jump in. All right, good morning, everybody. Saturday, we checking in. Break time's over. We got a special guest coming on. I've known him since high school. Let's just go ahead and bring him in here, Mr. Deron.
What's up?
What's going on, man?
How you doing?
Hey, I appreciate you coming on. I know that time difference hit different, so I appreciate that.
It's all good, man. Glad to be here.
So what you got? What you got going on, man? I ain't talked to you in like it feels like years.
Man, honestly, I was thinking about this last night, and I remember that we went to high school together, but it was funny because we went to undergrad together too. Like we got some history, man. When's the last time we talked? Like,
Shit, undergrad,
yeah,
right?
pretty much.
Right? Because I feel
So,
like life just kind of happened. You know what I mean? Like
mhm.
after undergrad, I kind of like shifted off into like professional world. You know what I
Right.
mean? And like I just kind of like fell off, man, because I was doing some things and I had to kind of like I actually had to cut a lot of people off
Uh-huh.
right after I graduated and like switch it up a little bit. But I'm here now,
Yeah.
man. I'm chilling.
Yeah, I think that's what it's kind of a natural progression. I think maybe just finishing school, you branch out. In fact, I only talked to one other person that I went to undergrad with on a semi-regular basis. You know what I mean? So like we kind of grow our wings and run, run.
Yeah, that's that part they don't tell you, right? It's like it's all fun and games, and then all of a
Yeah,
sudden it get real. You get the bill, you get responsibilities.
yeah. Real life
It's like
slap
you
you down a
get hit,
little bit, put you
you
in your
know?
place.
Yeah, because like back in undergrad days, it's like you go to the. We gonna talk about you in the gym at undergrad too, because I remember spotting you. You know what I'm saying? Back when I used to do my little thing, pre dad life.
Yeah,
But I that's what I just want to go ahead and acknowledge that grind too, because I seen you back in one high school when you always lifted, but you was always trying to get bigger and bigger and bigger. You know what I
yeah,
mean? And like you was always in the gym at undergrad too. And then it's crazy because that's the part I haven't fell off on is like watching you on social media and watching your growth on social media. I haven't fell off from that. You know what I mean? And like I was like, dang, because I remember I forget, I think it was maybe I want to say it was like 2016-ish, and you had like posted a picture, and I was just like, yo, what happened to D-Rock? What is it? This joker cut. So can you just go ahead and like expand on kind of like at what point did you decide like, hey, I want to get competitive with this whole lifting
yeah.
thing?
It's funny you say that because it was about at that time because most like everything else, it starts as a hobby or you got your cliche, I'm trying to attract some girls, you know what I mean, see what's up with that. um Usually there's some kind of motivation, like you trying to stop getting bullied on. And for me, uh I remember um in high school, it was actually a teacher said something. He was a coach, you probably remember him. I'm not gonna say his name, but I
Don't be
flew to
dropping
gym
those gems
class
on
with
here.
him. Say what now?
I said, go ahead and drop some gems on here, man. And it's
No,
all good. Don't worry about it. But go
the
ahead.
wrestling coach.
Okay, yep, I
Anyway,
know.
yeah, he looked at me one day and he said, "Man, you got a bird chest." And for some reason, I felt disrespected by that. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
So,
fact.
me in my like 15-year-old head or however I was like, "Yo, that's the last time anybody gonna have something to say about my chest." So I think it was the next semester I started. They had like a little weightlifting class in high school because I wasn't old enough to have a job and access to a gym yet. So that's like where I started.
Mhm.
And it was just a hobby. After undergrad, it was still kind of an on and off hobby, like I'll say 3 to 4 days a week. But around that time, actually it was 2014, I started getting really serious. um it's just, you get to a point where it's like I'm putting all this work in, like is something gonna become of it? Like, I want to actually
Mhm.
do something with it, like more
Yeah.
performance based. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
you spend all day in the basketball court shooting free throws. Sooner or later, you're gonna try out for a team. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So
So
it's like you gotta figure out a way to take like that hobby and make it kind of like a professional thing, like where you
exactly.
start developing that professional discipline.
Uh huh.
Like I remember, so for me, I played football in high school, but I didn't get cut or big until like senior year,
Uh
and
huh.
that's when it started. But like I had the opposite problem where people always told me like, "Yo, your chest, your frame is just huge. Like, why you not lift weights?" And I was like, "What do you mean? Like, I don't want to." And then
Yeah.
senior year, I had nothing but chest and arms. You know what I mean? I could never diet right, so I never had the abs. And it was just one of the things. Then when I got to college, it was like, oh, you want to walk on? Oh, you got to gain 25 pounds. And I did the 25 pounds the wrong way. And then
Hmm.
after that, it was just like, all right, well, I go to the gym, I'll maintain a little bit, but
Yeah.
I was already strong. I didn't have like that kind of motivation, that tick that was like, hey, you need to take this and go do something more with it. But like
Hmm.
for podcasting, oh, definitely. Like this right
Yeah.
here, this is my. I'm like, I gotta work 40 hours a week. I might as well have an hour a week where I do something that's a hobby for me, that's fun, and I want to get
Exactly.
developed. You know what I mean? So
Hmm.
yeah, kudos to you, man. And
Yeah.
so what was that like, that transition like when that kind of like sets off in your head, and then you like, hey, it's something more that I could be doing. Do you like start researching it? Or is it like you meet people, or how does that work?
It's kind of all at the same time, and it's little bits and pieces, because at some point you realize that it's going to be difficult to develop that skill set any further unless you become a student
Mm,
of that realm. And so I know in some, like, I'm not sure, you probably had a similar experience. Like, I'm sure you had a lot of technology things to figure out before you could start developing your podcast. And
yep.
that's kind of what it is. You start growing your skills in different directions to enable you to perform better at whatever it is you do. And I have mentors for sure in the gym. My coach, for example, he schooled me. He's been my coach since 2014. Like, when I got serious, like I said, he did a great job of schooling me. Um, and so it just kind of goes from there. Looking back in history, it's like there's not one moment. Like, I can remember our first competition, but it's
Yeah.
hard to think of that one moment where you was like, all right, I'm a completely. It's like trading in the fun for a
Yeah.
job that you enjoy. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
now you got responsibilities attached to what you enjoy doing. So
Yeah. It's at some point you get on like a speed bullet train, and you
yeah,
don't know at what point you got on it, but you know you ain't getting off.
you're
You know what
right.
I
You
mean?
look out the window, you're like, damn.
Yeah. It's like you can't even really look back because you're so busy going forward.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about. And I think that's what like people relate to, is like there's the human aspect of when you find a hobby that you love and everybody else can then tell like you literally embody this thing. It's a human aspect of that kind of takes over, and I think that's what makes it relatable to people. You know what I
Hmm.
mean? It's like if people are doing it, like you could tell people who are passionate about it, and you tell people who have inherent ability. Like just like when you watch an NFL game, like if a receiver goes up and catches a pass, like you supposed to get paid to do that. If you
Yeah.
catch it some crazy way that ain't nobody ever done before, everybody's like, yo, you be out there on the field putting in hours, like trying to figure out how you can do that. And I feel like
Yeah.
with weightlifting and professional bodybuilding, it's so much like science behind what you do on a daily basis, plus the discipline, plus the
Hmm.
hours, plus like, you know what I mean, to then get like let's say you go pro, like to get the accolades and the title and the respect, everybody else in the community kind of recognizes that. And all
Yeah.
all the onlookers are kind of like, yo, you just like you big dog, why you in the gym? Like, you know what I mean? Like, bro, you don't got to go every day, but then
Right.
it's like, then you have like your coach and stuff to encourage you to push, and I think that's cool, man.
Yeah. It's like I don't think people actually understand what it takes to go from something you enjoy to a professional at something you enjoy. Even if you enjoy it, it doesn't mean you're putting in any less work than somebody who hates doing it. It's
Hmm.
it's a lot of time, a lot of work. It's a huge investment. Like, I tell people, once you go from just going to the gym to trying to become a bodybuilder, you just picked up a part-time job. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Because it's not just everybody can go to the gym. Most, I'd say 90% of people have time to at least show up in the gym, but it doesn't stop there. You know, it's like when I get home, are my meals made for however long I need them to be made? You know, is everything weighed out properly? Do I have time on my schedule to stop what I'm doing and eat when I need to, so that I'm not stuck, you know, trying to cram down 3 meals at the end of the day? And like the human part is what I'm keying in on.
Yeah.
People just see that catch
Yeah.
that you're talking about, right? And,
Yeah.
and when he misses a catch, they're like, "Well, he getting paid all that money and he missing catches." Like,
Exactly.
come on now, like we're humans. It
Exactly.
ain't, it ain't as easy as we make it look. You know what I
Exactly.
mean?
Right. It only looked that good because of the background time and effort that you put into
Oh yeah,
that
oh
one
yeah.
that one instance. You know what I mean?
Uh-huh.
And it is true. Like everybody forgets that you're allowed to be human and drop whatever, you know. And that's the thing is like there's gotta be time on and time off and balance. And that's what I was going that's my next question for you is like, how do you take all the things that you have to do in the day? Because I know you're also an electrician. So like how do you take everything you got to do in the day and balance it out?
I'll say, for me personally, it's just effort because um for example, at work I'll get a break and a lunch, so I can eat twice at work. I'll eat before work and after work. And usually as an electrician, the entire trades, we usually start early and then end early, so most days I'm off work by 2:30 or 3 o'clock. That gives me plenty of time to go to the gym. So it's kind of just shuffling. Like, you have to make it work. You got to find holes in your schedule and fill them like they need to be filled if you're going to be successful. I'd say just like anything else, you know, we all have to have jobs, and we make time for the things we want to. And you kind of prioritize all those things based on, you know, just what's important to you.
Yeah. Yeah, I feel like that's just like, you know, if you want something enough, you have to be disciplined enough to set aside the time. And like time management is a big problem for a lot of people, but there's a finite amount of time in each day.
Mm-hmm.
So if you just carve out 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 15 minutes for what it is that you want to do, as a person you grow better, and that helps your time management. Even if it starts small and then you start to realize like, man, you know, I watched this TV episode. That TV episode is 20 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
While I'm watching that TV episode, what if I just listen to it? Do I have to visually watch it, or is
Uh-huh.
there something else I can do during that time to maximize that effort, right? And so like for me, like with this, the edits that go into it, the pub that go into it, all that, I don't really got time for much of TV or anything when I'm doing this,
Mm-hmm.
but there's still stuff I like to listen to. So like I might turn on like Twitch and watch or listen to like somebody gaming because I can't physically play games right then and there. You know what I mean? But I still gonna challenge you to ping pong. So how has weightlifting affected your ping pong game, my friend?
Well, I'll tell you what. I ain't played ping pong in a while, but I did shoot a basketball a few months ago, and I was like, "Yeah, it's not for me anymore." It
You
just
did like launch it
it was
over
a
the
different
over the
mechanic.
rim.
Say what?
You launch it over the rim
No, it went short because I don't know. Your sense of strength is just completely different when it used to be, unless I was doing it
all the
consistently. But of
time.
course, I wasn't. You know, and
Yeah,
ping pong,
that
they
it's
got
like
these
that
little
phantom strength. Like you don't know how to scale it anymore, so you don't.
exactly.
Yeah,
And so mentally, I think I'm gonna launch it over the goal, but what really happens is 2 feet short. You know what I mean?
yeah, yeah. That's that. Like back to like that's the you would have to be disciplined again with basketball. Like get intimate again with the feeling of the ball. But I do
Yeah,
remember like after I would lift, I wasn't able to control my own strength. Like it was, whether it be racquetball or like whatever, I would be like in there like throwing haymakers for like no reason, and I wouldn't even be trying. You know, it's just everything would be so light.
yeah.
So
It's funny.
yeah, it's like it's one of those things, man. Like it's like the funny side to everything you do too. You know what I mean? Along with the discipline. Like so on social media, I actually like all your posts because to me, it's still you. You know what I mean? Like you haven't changed over the years. Like you've grown, you've matured, but like that sense of humor, that comedy side, it still come through in your posts. You know,
Thank
the little smart little joke stuff you do,
you.
that still come through. You know, and it's like, man, it's like I just been wanting to connect with you for so long because it's just like it's crazy that I've seen you grow and develop and compete, and I be looking on the stage like, dang, this joker actually belong up there. Like, it's, you know what I mean? Like, it's
Yeah.
I could tell that you've taken the time to like kind of perfect, and like that you live the lifestyle that you put out on social media. But then like knowing you, I'm like, oh, it's not a facade. Like he's still out there being himself, and he just enjoying the things that he enjoy in life.
Yeah, it means a lot, man. It's a fine line because there are a lot of things you have to give up, or you just choose to give up,
Yeah.
just for the sake of it, and just people reminding you that, hey, man, it's cool, you still you. It means a lot. So thank you for that.
Yeah, no problem, man. I think that's the part is just like when you come across, like for me personally, there's a lot of things I used to do when I was younger that I don't mess around with anymore. And it to me it's always so rewarding, like when I meet somebody and we like start chopping it up, and they like, oh, you still in there? I'm like, yeah, like there's a professional me, like a me at work. Like that's when I show up. I show up that way. I show up as a dad. I show up as a husband. But then inside, I'm still Adrian, like it ain't for everybody. I tell people that, like, some maybe you don't need to meet me, you know what I mean? But like
Yeah.
it ain't for everybody, because I don't ever want to be fake. I had
Uh-huh.
a time in my life where um I wasn't able to live to my true self. And then I started coaching, which is my other passion, and that kind of helped me manage upwards. And like instead of chasing promotion, I was kind of more in control of what I actually wanted to do and how I wanted to present myself. And it kind of helped me fall back in love with myself again, to where I could be like, you know what? I don't have to be the way you want me to be all the time,
Hmm.
but I also don't have to introduce you to my true self either. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? And so I've learned how to do that over the years, and it's kind of helped me now with this whole coaching thing too. It's kind of helped me step into like who I want to be as a person.
Right. That and choosing your audience, we were talking about
Absolutely.
just time management, and the people you surround yourself with have a lot to do with how much free time you think you have sometimes. Because if you got people supporting you, that's like a whole load that you don't have to worry about anymore. That time now you can focus on you, maybe work on your
Yeah.
own development, So
Yeah.
it's important to have that team, and not maybe team is kind of a cliche word because we're all like organic in our interaction with each other, but just surround yourself with people who want you to be successful. Put simply, you know what I mean?
Do you find that like if you go to a competition, that like, so does the gym feel the same way as the competitive? Like if you're competing at an event and you still surrounded around the same kind of like people, do you feel like the competition kind of turns off that kind of friendly until it's over, or do you feel like it's still relationship even at the competition?
I'll tell you what. I you'll get two answers to this question. One from the men, and then the other from the women. I think, right? So in the gym, I'm speaking for myself, which is again important. Your choice of gym that you go to, because some gyms, whether it's the location or the people who kind of take it over, the vibes are completely different. In one gym you'll go to, everybody's helping each other out. Other gym you go to, everybody's in each other's way. You know what I mean? When it's the same amount of people, for example, in the same space. Um, so I choose to go to gyms where everybody's supporting each other. There's a gym called the Human Elite out here in East County that my coach owns. I go there
Mhm.
because everybody who goes to that gym is supporting each other. And even when we get on stage next to each other, we're like dapping each other up and showing love. We're not
Yeah.
competing with each other. We're just trying to see who the judges physique
Who-
looks better. You know what I mean?
right. Yeah.
So even when I say competition, I'm competing with, not against these
Right.
guys.
Right.
And
So do you
like the second one, I can't speak. I'm only speaking for myself, but I hear for women it's almost the exact opposite, man. Like, of course, they have cliques and friends, but from what I hear, they be staring daggers and not,
Yeah. It's
subverting each
like,
other's success, but not exactly wishing yours.
right, right. It's like, oh, it's so nice to see you here again.
Yeah,
Oh,
right.
how was that fourth place? You know what I mean? Like, oh, I saw you on the national stage. Congratulations on getting fourth. Like
Yeah,
slight
yeah,
shade.
yeah,
Like
yeah. Yeah,
it's
so
like,
this
hey, I
thing, yeah,
respect everything you did to get here. We doing the same thing, but at the same
yeah.
time, it's a competition. like
Mhm.
I get both aspects of it, you know what I mean? Like, because there's always gonna be the competitive edge. But I was always curious about that because it just seems like, based on pictures, right? And you can't pictures don't got words, it ain't like
Yeah.
nobody shooting no videos, but like based on pictures, you see people posing with each other, and you be like, well, dang, this person from Jersey and this person is from freaking Colorado, and it's like as soon as like it feels like the connection is instant sometimes. But then you also see pictures where it just be like, you read the caption and you just be like, well, dang, you know what I mean? Like it's like, okay, y'all like AFC versus NFC, like
Oh
who
yeah.
gonna win? And it's cool though. It's cool though. Like I always wondered because I haven't been to a competition. I've always wanted to go to a live competition. My wife used to be like a huge, huge, huge fan of bodybuilding, and she's the one who actually told me like, yo, it's a lifestyle. Like
Hmm.
it's a sport, but you have to live that sport whether you competing at that time or not, and everything you do kind of goes into it, like the science behind it, you know what I mean? So like how you feeding your body, how you resting, your mental state, like all that stuff goes into it, because she used to like mess with it hardcore. So like
Hmm.
I was like, I'm like, man, they be in the gym, they lift weights, okay, like they focus in on these muscles, okay, whatever. But then like I started to appreciate like the time commitment it takes to do all that stuff too. And then I was just like, dang, because I like to be I'm a competitive person. So,
Hmm.
but I like jokey competitive. You know what I mean? Like I say some whoop, whoop stuff while it's going on, and then after we could just laugh about this shit. You
Oh
know what
yeah,
I
yeah,
mean? But like, it's one of them things. Like I always wonder. So thank you for answering that question for me.
yeah.
Like, and giving the real and giving it from your perspective and not like trying to represent the whole community. I appreciate
Uh-huh.
that you did that as well. You know what I mean?
Yeah, because I mean, I guess you got to know who you're talking to, like any other time. But it's you can talk smack. You're allowed to talk smack, even to your buddy. And
Yeah.
then after you get off stage, like you know it's love. You know it doesn't really need to be said. But
Have you ever like did you notice like so when you won your first excuse me because I don't know what it is, but I know it had the sword. It's like NPC or no?
NPC is a federation.
Okay.
So bodybuilding generally is what you
Hmm.
call it, I guess. And you have certain federations that organize the events, and NPC is the biggest one in the states.
Okay.
NPC would be the amateur league, and IFBB would be the professional league. Because I'm sure you've heard of IFBB too, right?
Yeah, I have. I have.
So
So
the
when
first,
you won,
so
like
you
the
call it.
first time I saw a picture of you, you had the sword that
Uh
was
huh.
like almost as big as you.
Hold on, let me look at
Oh
that.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Bragging
It's
rights.
funny
Yeah.
because the two in the middle are mine,
Uh-huh.
and that one standing up by itself, that's my wife's, and she has another one over there I haven't hung up.
Oh,
Yeah,
so
she
you
caught up to me quick, man.
oh dang. I think she probably gonna pass you though. I've been
Hey,
see
she
she
is
been grinding. I've been following her on
hard.
social media too. She been grinding. So go ahead and move yours over. You
Hey,
know what I
right?
mean?
Right?
She can have a whole Game of Thrones thing going on.
Man, she gonna need a whole wall pretty soon.
But that's good. So do you okay, matter of fact, now that you brought that up, so like
Uh-huh.
was that I was gonna ask you about like when you got a coach, but
Hmm.
when you found your partner, like your life partner that was also like you could be your swole mate, you know what I mean? Like, did that help?
Oh yeah. And I'll,
Okay.
I'll say I've heard from more people it hurt their relationship more than it helped.
Mm,
So I don't think I'm like the unicorn, but I can say 100% it's helped both of us because for whatever reason we feed off of each other's energy the right way. And what I hear from most people is that you know what comes with prep because I'm sure your wife talks about you're angry sometimes because you ain't getting
mm-hmm.
food, you're stressed because you're busy and you still got to go to the gym or you still have to cook for the next day. And what I hear of like I'll say 75-80% of the time is couples who try and do this together, it just doesn't work because they're going back and forth, or one person gets frustrated, or the other person is pissed off for no reason. Typically, it doesn't work. But for me, I couldn't do what I do without her support, and I'm sure it's the same for her. So,
Yeah, that's good. Like, actually, there's a comment that happened earlier where they're talking about consistency and how it transfers to your life, and then muscle memory and self accountability. But like to me, that's important. Is like you have consistency, but as a couple, if you move at a battle rhythm, you know what
yeah,
I mean?
that's a
It
good word.
helps you. It helps you survive all that other stuff. Like
Right.
when you come home and you tired, but they want everything underneath the sun. But then there's times where you want everything under the sun. They don't want shit to do with you. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like it's like, look, hey, go over there, sit down, pull up your
Uh-huh.
phone, and leave me the hell alone. But like I feel like you need the balance. Like,
Hmm.
you can't always be dependent upon each other, but you have
Uh-huh.
to understand what the other person is going through, so that way you can be supportive of them.
Hmm.
So kudos to y'all, man. And
Thank you,
I
man.
see y'all be grinding. Yeah, y'all be taking gym pictures together. I
Yeah.
also see that she going heavy right now, like for real.
Man, I tell you
So
what, she's made more progress easily. I'll be fair. I say she's made more progress in the past 2 years than she's made her whole career, you know. So
mhm.
yeah, and I'm not talking about myself, but it just so happens we met around 2 years ago, you know.
Oh, so I see what you're saying is you're not gonna move your swords out the way. So it's kind of like the predecessor to kicking off the
Hey,
energy.
I'm taking like 25% credit for her sword, is what I'm saying.
Hey, I'm just gonna say right now, I did not hear anything that happened in this podcast. I do not know Deron.
Hey, she went to the bedroom. That's the only reason I'm
Oh
talking to
yeah,
y'all
it's
like
a
this,
safe,
okay?
it's a safe space.
I'll make sure she doesn't get a copy of the
Hey,
podcast.
no, it's okay. Hey, make sure she check out the playback. We at your time in on all social media
Hey,
platforms.
you need to get your editing team together for that, man.
Oh no, this live, bro. Ain't no edit. That's it. That's what I like about it too. It's raw and uncut, and it's all jokes, man.
Yeah.
But I want to take some time and like I want to ask you one more question. So I see that you worked on your personal training. Do you so when what do you for those people who are like kind of struggling with like getting a routine and accomplishing their goals that they set out, not necessarily just like to even just like step into a gym is really hard for some people to even switch their lifestyle on, I don't like to say dieting, but like to switch their lifestyle up to help feed their body. That's hard for some people. So like is there any advice you have for people who maybe are struggling with that kind of aspect of just getting started on their fitness journey?
Yeah, I would say reaffirm your whys. To me, the why is probably the most important thing because it's been plenty of times, even me personally, I've had to question why I want to do this. It hurts. It's not fun. Like, why do I want to do it? And when you don't have an answer to that question at the times, you're not successful. And so, whether you need to, I guess, promote in your own mind your why, or I don't know, find a why, somebody to make. Don't do it for other people. Do it for yourself. But if it gives you motivation to look a certain way for the opposite sex, for example, make that your why. And if that doesn't work for you because it's not heavy enough, then find something that is, or you're just not going to be successful. As soon as it gets tough, you're going to be like, why am I doing this? And you're not going to keep doing it.
That's true because it's always easy to quit something or like to take a break, which is the reason why I started this podcast in general. Is I had wanted to do something like this for a long time,
Mm-hmm.
and I just kept hitting the brake button on it and hitting the brake on it and hitting the brake on it. And then when I got my coaching certification, I was like, I like to talk to people, I like to help people, but in this age, and then not but and in this age where it's so easy for you to grab your phone. It's so easy for you to connect on social media. It's important to me, which is why I did season 2, The Journey. Is like it's important for me for other people to come and share that you're not alone. Like, you know what I mean? It's one of those things that you can connect to other people in it, and we never know what we might say that captures somebody else and helps them deal with whatever it is that they're gonna deal with. So I
Mm-hmm.
appreciate you, despite the time difference and everything, just coming on and chopping
Okay.
it up with me. Where
Yeah.
can everybody find you out on social media?
I got a Facebook, but I'm still under 50 years old. So go to my Instagram at Heavy D Ron.
Yeah.
Unless you family, then hit me up on Facebook. But if you're not, Heavy D Ron on Instagram. That's where I'll be.
All right, man. Is there any closing remarks you got? Anything?
I'll say one of the things that you just said that stood out to me as far as advice is just to start because you'll think of something you want to do until you're in the grave and you'll have all these great ideas and you mentally will go to the moon and nothing will ever get done. So just start. whether you're good at it or not, you'll never be if you don't start. So for those who are afraid of getting in the gym or afraid of starting that diet plan because you don't know if it'll work or not, just start it. And if it doesn't work, you know it doesn't work. So start something else, So start it. That's what I'm saying.
All right, man. Thank you for joining us. Hang tight. Hey, everybody. So I also would like to encourage you just to start, I always say one of the biggest things I always say is don't tell yourself no. Let somebody else tell you no, but make them work to tell you no. Okay. So even if somebody says, hey, that's not for you or whatever, you should at least try it. You should at least push yourself. You should at least attempt something. And then if you make the determination that, there's some struggles with this, or, hey, this is not the thing I thought it was going to be, and this is not the path I want to pursue, then you stop. You know what I mean? But don't tell yourself no just off the jump without ever trying, without ever giving yourself the opportunity to excel. Okay. You are your biggest advocate. You are the only person in control of you. You're the only person that can tell you that something is not attainable. If you feel like somebody is telling you not attainable, if that doesn't motivate you, then maybe that's not the right thing for you anyway. So go ahead and step away. But this has been your Time In podcast. Break time's over. Time to check in. We'll catch you on the next episode.